partner you can switch your game. Legendary conversations people want to know. When you're on the way to greatness, what's the way to go? Inspiration for the future, we can make a change. Kick some knowledge with your partner, you can switch your game. Legendary conversations.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Game Sessions. Today, I got a LZ standout All-American, a former McDonald All-American nominee. I got an author of the book Game Over. I got my guy, Kwame Moore. Kwame, how you doing, sir?
Great. Pleasure to be with you today.
And I appreciate you taking out the time to join, man.
Yes, sir.
What you're currently doing right now?
In Jackson, man, working at a law firm every day and selling cars.
So making a living, huh?
Yeah, working. I've been working at a law firm for 30 years, man. I started when I was in college. One of my professors was an attorney. I started worked with him for 10 years. Then I worked with probably one of the richest black lawyers in the state at that time. We might have been one of the richest lawyers in the state. Isaac Bird, I worked with him for about 10 years. And past 10 or 15 years, I've been working with a couple of other ones. But yeah, I've been doing this for 30 years and always been a car junkie. Went and got my auction license about 5 years ago, and the cars done took over. The cars, the full-time job now, and the law office stuff is part-time. But I still enjoy doing them both.
Okay. So we'll go back to your childhood a little bit. Where you was born and raised?
Greenwood, Mississippi. I was raised in the Browning community till I was about 7 years old. We moved to Avenue G.
Okay.
And I was back and forth from Avenue G. And my grandma was still in Browning, and we had a farm in Browning. So those were the two places that I was raised in. Pretty much Browning and Avenue G. Both the best of both worlds, country and town.
Definitely. They had that store out there. I remember Miss Gladys Spain had a little store out there in Browning. I don't know if she got it later on, but
I left.
Okay, yeah. So
I graduated in '91, so it had to be after that.
Yeah, it was after that. So your neighborhood up in Browning, man, old Browning. So how was it, man, as a kid growing up there?
Man, my folks got 180-acre farm out there. And those were my summers, man, out there messing with the cows. My dad had us out there, me and my cousin Reginald.
Mm-hmm.
That was our job. We helped take care of the cows during the summer. I hated it. I always wanted to go chase a basketball, but he always had something for me to do that was interfering with me trying to go play some basketball. So I was so ready to get off that farm. I couldn't wait to go to college.
So what all did you? What all was it that you was doing on the farm? Just like plowing? I mean, what all was?
My grandmama had chickens, so we would have to tend to the chickens, feed the cows. I would water them. My dad worked at the employment service, so he went to work and left me a list of chores that he wanted me to have done by the time he got off work. When he got off work, I would help him feed him or whatever he had to do. So fertilizing, driving. I was driving at about 9 years old, so I was driving tractors and trucks on the farm. They tricked me. So once I learned how to drive, they stuck me on the tractor.
Look, and then, as a kid, that's the first thing, we want to learn how to drive, but then we regret it when we get low.
Yeah, they tricked me. Yeah. Let me drive anything I wanted. When I got about 9 or 10, I had to do it for real. I'm pulling tractors back there, fertilizing, sit on the tractor all day driving.
Man, so how many siblings you got?
Man, I grew up with it was 5 of us, 3 sisters and a brother. All of them are older, except my youngest sister, Hadassah.
Okay.
So I grew up.
Were they out there too?
My sisters didn't have to as much. My brother, he was 9 years older than me, so he hurried up and got on down and went to Alcorn. So pretty much it was me and my cousin Reginald. I would have to go get him out the bed, and his dad had made him go out there with me.
Look, it was just a little big brother said, "I holler at you."
Yeah, he was out there. Didn't come back home.
Look, then you follow suit afterwards.
As soon I was like, I couldn't wait to go to college. I'm getting off this farm too. I'm going to every school, summer school, spring school, all the schools. I'm getting off this farm.
So you gravitated to sports. So was it just basketball or was it anything else?
Football was my first love, man. I love football. Football was my first love. I played little league baseball too, but football was my first love. And I guess when we got about seventh grade, they really cut out the junior high program at Elsie. And Coach Williams brought it back when we was like eighth grade, I think, and stuck me, Frederick Ford, and a few more of us out there with some grown men. And they hit me one day real good. Greenwood and Ford and Anthony Wynn, all of them was waiting on me to come out there to practice with them.
Yeah.
And I remember they racked me up real good one day. And then we went to JC George, and I saw them grown men out there hitting. I was like, I'm going back in that gym.
Hey, you said this ain't the sport for me.
They had us out there. We was seventh grade, and I know them guys had to be about 10th or 11th grade out there pounding up. So no, I'm going back in that gym.
What position you was playing? Or they had you at, brother? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they had a bunch of crossing routes.
Oh man. The first pass, I remember pass pattern 10. Bruce Hemphill was the quarterback. He threw me a ball that took like 10 minutes to come down. When it came down, all my classmates were rapping me. Pop, 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 pop.
So it was over with there.
Yeah, because I was a noise talker, and they couldn't wait to get out there and make me eat my words.
Man, because look, I know you was killing them on the court, so they had to get you back in next sport.
Yeah. I felt if we had a good quarterback to throw me the ball, I probably would have stayed out there, but we didn't do nothing but run the ball 3 plays in a row. What they said, first and 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Yeah, that was it.
Offense. So we weren't throwing the ball too much, and I didn't like that.
Okay, well, yeah, because if you playing receiver, all you doing is blocking.
Yeah.
So you go to Elsie. We'll fast forward to your senior year. You average 19 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. You know, almost a triple double. Average a triple double. Y'all won the division that year. Who was on that team, on that basketball team with you?
Frederick Ford, Sean Pearson. Then we had Coach Brown's son. They transferred from Greenwood High. Jeffrey Banks, Bimp. Man, we had a solid team. We should have went further than we did that year. We had a good solid team that year. My senior year and my junior year, we went to the playoffs all 3 of those years. My 10th, 11th, and 12th grade year. Had Al Ford my 10th grade year. He was a senior. So yeah, we had some pretty solid teams, man.
Yeah, I know Al Ford was. I'm sure y'all supposed to be one state that year.
Made my job easy. They would double and triple team him. I just go to the corner and wait till they throw it to me. If I was open, I was gonna make it.
Look, that's all it took. Swing it my way.
Yeah, y'all leave me open. I'm gonna make that shot.
Yeah, so, definitely.
I kind of kicked myself for not following him and over to Valley and doing the same thing. I would have had an easy college career as well.
Yeah. Because he would have been a junior, you'd have been a freshman coming in. So y'all would have, so that would have
had 2 years to play with him there.
Yeah. So your senior year, y'all lost to Lafayette in the second round.
I know that game. We should, man. We were blasting them boys, and they came out at halftime, made some adjustments, and next thing you know, we on the bus, and I'm thinking, how did my season end that fast? And they had a young sophomore team that came back and gave us the bid.
Man, and those are the games that hurt the worst.
Yeah.
Like if you getting blasted from the beginning, it's kind of like, oh, okay then. But when you already winning, especially by 10 or more, and you going into halftime, and all you gotta do is close it out, and then you lose. That hurt worse because you was like, you had it, you was right there. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So yeah,
talent wise, they shouldn't have been on the court with us. I think we might have gotten out coached that game, but talent wise, they shouldn't have been on the court with us.
all right. So you was on the so you was nominated for the McDonald American team. Did you actually play in the game, or
No,
was it just like a number? It's a
yeah,
nominee.
I was just lucky enough to be considered and nominated. I didn't get a chance to play in that game, and I think if uh, our senior season hadn't ended so soon, if we had made it further in the tournament, I might could have gotten some more postseason accolades. But we got sent home after that first game, and it was good night, Irene.
Yeah, yeah. I was looking at that team too. Had Grant Hill and couple more guys was on that team. I can't remember, but that was a solid team though
Yeah,
that they had this year. Um, so I seen you was the salutatorian in 1990, wait for your graduating class. So
yeah.
you had to go up there and do the speech, man. How was it going up there to do the speech in front of your classmates?
Nothing I hadn't done before. I mean, I've always been in front of a mic, church.
Okay.
Going to church that prepared us for it in almost every program that they had at school. We were speaking or doing something. So I mean, I was comfortable.
Okay.
I wrote my own speech, and I remember coming to Jackson that day to pick up my class ring and do some other stuff, and I almost was late trying to get back to school for the graduation program. But yeah, I was, and I guess that's something that I tell these kids now when I speak to them. Man, when we was growing up, all my buddies were smart. We wanted, and we competed. We weren't. It was cool to be smart back then. We actually competed for everything. We wanted to be the first one to turn our paper in. We wanted to make the highs on the test. If we were playing checkers, we wanted to beat you in that, marbles, kickball, back, whatever we did, we always competed. And I had about, I don't know, 6 or 7 close friends that, kept me on my toes because they were just as smart and, just as competitive.
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, back then, man, it was a little bit more competition. Now it's just watching my little brother and just listening to him. It's just like they do it. If they don't, they don't. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Nobody
So
wants, and I tell them, I said, the nerds are winning, man. That's who's winning in life right now, the nerds. But
definitely,
nobody wants to, to appear to be smart or anything now. I just don't understand it.
it's
Different,
generational, man.
yeah, different
Generational.
things.
Yeah. So you go to Grambling, basketball scholarship. Was it any other school that you initially wanted to go to, or was it just Grambling off top?
No, you said man makes plans, God just laughs at it. And like I said, I thought I had a chance to sign early because during the early recruiting area period, I had offers to Stanford, Notre Dame, Penn State, got accepted to the Air Force Academy. Uh, Mike Espy, the congressman, he he nominated me, so I got all of that. But I wanted to wait until after the season. I figured we were going to make a good late postseason run.
Mhm.
And, by the time I was ready to sign, all the scholarships had dried up. And I had met Coach Punton, who was at Grambling, um, at one of these postseason basketball camps. He and I got close, and that's where I decided to go. I mean, I had some SWAC schools talk to me, but they stayed on me pretty hard. So I went down there on my visit. Ice Cube, they had In Vogue, all those folk down there for Spring Fest. I saw all the beautiful women. I looked at the team. I think the team might have won about 3 or 4 games the previous year. I was like, man, I'm going to go down here and put these guys on the map.
on the top. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I went on down and had a few homeboys and homegirls that were already at Grambling. So yeah, let me go down here and check it out.
Okay.
Stayed there a
So,
year, and after that year, man, 9 of us off the team left. 2 assistant coaches left. I never, that was a learning curve for me. Me staying in the honors dorm, and I was away from the team,
Mhm.
so I was kind of an outcast among my teammates. But
Okay.
that was a crazy experience. But I love
Right.
it, grandma, man. And I still got a bunch of friends from down there today.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely, being young and then going somewhere, of course, you never been, and just trying to adapt. You know what I mean? It was just
Country
I-
boy didn't know nothing. And
right.
I remember getting hurt early. We were doing preseason training, and I had some developed shin splints. And I didn't
Mm,
know nothing about that, or no training room or nothing. And coach on me like, man, why you ain't come to practice? And why you not? You hurt? Why you not in the training room? What's the training room? What they doing now? I
right.
can't tell them. They didn't do nothing but put a band-aid on you until
Put a
you get,
band-aid, that's some ice on it, and go back
yeah,
out there.
give you an aspirin.
Man,
So
that's it.
I had, adapting to the college environment. That was a challenge for me. But as far as playing, I mean, I pretty much held my own with the guys on the team. But the politics and everything that that kind of drove me away from grandma. I was like, man, I can go home. So then I looked to. I was in the news in the I was in the library one day and I saw Jackson State was playing in the Rainbow Classic. I had reached out to Valley, and
Mhm.
Coach Wardell was like, "Yeah, man, we want," because they had recruited me to come over there. I said, "Well, I go home and go play with Al."
Right.
And Coach Strill was like, "Nah." Coach Wardell was like, "We want you," but he was like, "Coach Strill said you didn't come. When we wanted you, don't worry about it." So I went on to Jackson State. Jackson State said, "You can come down here." So I transferred to Jackson State, and my life changed when I came to Hines County.
So you played your last three or your last two at Jackson State?
I didn't, man. I got cut at Jackson State, and then I came back. I wasn't in it. I had started doing other stuff that year.
Mm.
We didn't have the transfer portal back then. So when you transferred, you had to sit out a year.
Sit out a year, yeah.
And here I am, been playing basketball, high school basketball at seventh grade. Had that structure, all my life. I had practice, what have you. And here I am now with all this free time. I'm on a college campus. I was going back and forth to Greenwood, hanging out with some of my partners that didn't go to school, and I kind of picked up on some of their bad habits. And
Right.
I really didn't have my mind and heart into basketball uh, like I had been, the previous years. All the distractions, and I let the distractions come in and get me off course.
Right. Yeah, it don't take much, especially when you get with your boys and stuff, and it's almost like, well, shoot, since I ain't playing this, because you ain't got nothing really to take your focus off that. So yeah, so it's like you just start gravitating to the other direction. So
All negative influences.
right. So you it's over for Jackson. So you finish up at Jackson State or whatever. So did you ever pursue overseas anything, or you just was like, what, basketball is over?
The last time I tried out, I think it was like my I guess junior senior. I did try out and I played. We had two exhibition games. I remember Vosler being the last one. It was a traveling team of former uh, college players and had two solid games. And I remember after the game, coach called me up. He was, talking to all of us after. He's like, Kwame, man, you played better than any guard that I had in these last two games. You look good all practice, but we had one coach to vote against you. So I'm probably not going to be able to take you right now. But what I want you to do is I want you to keep coming to practice because I know we're going to use you before the year's out. I want you to keep coming to practice, and eventually we know we're going to use you. But like I said, you played better than all the guards that I had. Man, I left practice that day. I went in my room, my dorm room, which was across the hall from the AAC. Went in there and rolled me up a fat blunt, sat at my window, smoked it. I called my girlfriend. She was 4 years older than me, and
Mhm.
she was pregnant at the time.
Mhm.
Look, I'm finna move out the dorm. She had just got a house. I said, I'm finna go ahead and move in, with you. So I left off campus and I became a man. Then I had to take care of family.
Look, quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Yeah. So
Man, okay.
working at the law office and a tobacco company and in school.
So that's what you were saying. You've been working there for 30 years. So you started then,
Yeah.
and okay. Um, so that was it on the basketball thing. So after this, so you start working at the law firm office in the tobacco spot. So November 18th, 2013, you said my life would be forever altered. Not only was my life upended, but my family's as well, especially your kids. So
Yeah.
could you take us back and to that day and what actually transpired?
Well, and not only, I've always been an entrepreneur. So, like I
Mm.
said, when I sat out that year, I started hanging around some of my homeboys who were hustling, and I started hustling. And, I give me a little weed, bring it back, sell it to my partners at school. To where I was moving a lot of it, I started instead of the ounces and what have you, I was getting pounds and started moving that. So I had what the Commonwealth said, I had a 20-year side hustle. And November 18th, that side hustle caught up with me. I was careless and comfortable coming home. I had a big show that night at the club that I own here in Jackson. I said, well, I got some money down there. Got these last £2. I send them down there and pick up this money. Shit, that'll be a quick $35,000 trip, $30,000 trip. And careless, comfortable. Went through a roadblock and had the weed in the back. Didn't package it like I normally do.
Mhm.
And went through a highway patrol and said, man, you been smoking? I said, no, sir. Pull over. I smell it. I was like, damn, I had been waiting on that shoe to drop all these years. And there it was dropping on that hot summer day on the side of the road in Carroll County. Probably the worst place I wanted to ever get caught in Mississippi with some weed.
Definitely. Number one, white folks pull you over.
Yeah.
Man, that was rough. So after that, they pulled you over, and that's kind of how everything took place.
They found him quick, fast, and they ain't need no dog. He went straight to it. He went straight to it. And
So they was the dog then, huh?
yeah, he went straight to it. And like I said, I had a 20-year side hustle. A lot of people didn't know because I'm working at a law firm. Got apartment complex, probably the largest club in the state at the time.
Yeah.
I had a restaurant, some houses. I was kind of doing everything, but I always had one foot in the street.
Right. What's the name of the club?
Dreams.
Dreams. Okay.
Yeah. It was Dreams Jackson. I
Okay.
did that probably for about 6 years. I still have it. I'm leasing it to a young lady now. She's about to open a restaurant up with it downtown Jackson.
Okay.
So,
Okay then.
yeah, that's how that nightmare started. And I'm thinking I'll probably get probation, but the judge had different plans for me.
So what was the original sentence?
I got a 20-year sentence, man. They suspended 15. I had 5 to serve. But, when he said 20 years, I ain't hear nothing else. I'm like, man, this grass. I got 2 pounds. This grass, man.
Yeah. Yeah, 20 years will catch your eye in a minute.
Yeah, they came at me, and you know how they do when they lock you up. They want to get you to give them as much information as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I told them, I said, look, man, I got a wife and kid. I can't play the snitch game.
Yeah.
And, well, okay, we're going to show you, Mr. Smarty. And, yeah, they didn't, we're not getting you no favor. You ain't nobody special. Lock him up. So,
Man.
and when I talk about how that, affected my kids, I got my son at the time, 12, 13 years old. And I was not at home at a crucial time in his life.
Yeah.
And you see the results of that with these young black males now that don't have dads now. I was a very present father, but
Right.
those 2 years were real crucial in his development.
Right.
And he was exposed to some stuff and some I guess some negativeness
Yeah.
during that time, and he's wrestling now with some of those decisions that I made are causing him some issues right now, and he's 23. So
Right.
sitting in that cell, I was like, look, man, I got to do something. I started writing that book. The first day they locked me in there. Hey man, give me a pen and some paper. And I just started writing. I said, well, I knew I had a story in me. So I started writing. And when I came home, it was pretty much done. And it sat dormant, I guess, maybe 7, 8 years. And I'm watching everybody put their book out. I'm like, man, let me go and get this book out. How do I put a bow on it? How do I present this to a world? I think I got a great story. And, how do I present this to them? What's my redemption song? And one day I'm taking a shower and I'm thinking about growing up in Greenwood and how everybody looked out for me. They thought this young black boy was special. Everybody, black, white, dope boys, everybody looked out for me. So that's how I came up with the last chapter, I O. And I put that last chapter together, and Rashina held my hand and walked me to the finish line to publish this book.
That's a good thing, man. Because you're basically pouring your heart out into
I could,
paper.
I confess all of my sins, and I got a few partners, whatever, kind of got mad at me, man, and looking back at it, I might have should have changed some stuff in there, but at the time when I wrote it, man, it was cathartic. It was therapy for me, and I was not telling any lies. I wasn't sugarcoating it. I said, well, maybe my story will help somebody, not to make the decision that I made. So that was my main purpose of putting it out there. And I tell them, a few ones that did have issue with some of the stuff I said in there. I said, look, man, at the end of the day, that was my story. That's how, that was my perception, my view, my point of view. You got a story, then you need to put your story out there. But one thing they can't say is I didn't lie on them. I didn't lie.
No fabrication. Everything solid.
I was transparent. I was vulnerable. Like you said, I poured my heart out and confessed all of my sins in it.
Right. So I seen you saying you said Mississippi remains stubborn, basically to people who trying to change their lives and for the better. Why do you think Mississippi is still basically the same way?
That's a good question. It's a systematic problem we got. I mean, you start with when these guys incarcerated, they really don't have anything for them to try to get them back on track.
Yeah.
No type of programs really in the prison system to help them. So I was just lucky. I mean, I was educated and I had a great support system. So when I came home, I back on my feet trying to get everything going. But a lot of guys that come home, man, they ain't gonna do nothing but return to what they was doing before they went in and even back up in there. So they don't have any type of programs really to reform them.
Right. And that's the sad part. It's almost like they want you to go back.
Yeah,
it's
a business. I mean, a lot of these prisons are privately owned. So you're a customer. We gotta have some customers. So yeah, keep screwing up, and we need these customers. We need these repeat customers so we can stay in business.
And guess what? And we helping them out too.
Yeah.
It's sad. People can come home and at least try. I mean, and they may have to step outside the box sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Maybe sometimes they just gotta, step outside their comfort zone. But their comfort zone is what got them in there. And so a lot of them can't adapt to the outside. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad. Some of them young too, like real young.
Yeah, and then most of the guys off in there, they got drug charges. and I hadn't seen so many brothers in there with crystal meth charges. Everybody's selling crystal meth now. They say that's the number one scourge now. Cocaine has been past cocaine. They ain't worried about cocaine no more. They worried about the crystal meth because it's cheaper to produce, and everybody's out there trying to sell. It's a poor man high. So that's what they worried about mostly now is the crystal meth. But when I go around to these different schools and churches and prisons and talking to these guys, I tell them, I said, man, if you can take a product that's illegal and that you got to do it and hide it and you can't market it and you're successful at it, imagine what you did if you could do if you found something that was legitimate and you put that same hustle into it. And that's what I did with the cars. I mean, I took that strange street mentality, that hustle, and put it in with the car. And I mean, it's paying dividends. I love it.
Right. I think is for you. Your whole thing was get back to your family.
Oh,
getting back to your kids.
Every day is in the back of my head.
Right. But I think for some, they may not have kids. They may not have that support system. And so their mentality is like, what am I going back to? And
no hope. They don't have a lot of them. Like right. A lot of them don't have no hope, man.
Yeah,
they hope enough for that, so it don't matter.
Yeah, it's like, man, don't nobody care anyway. So I mean, which they do, but maybe they're not showing it. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of some of the problem, because you do have families that do care about the kids or the ones that going in, and the kids just don't care themselves. But then you got the ones that support system ain't always there. They could have had a mom pass, dad pass, or just family just never was functional. And that's all they know is the prison system. Dad probably went to jail, mom probably, you know what I'm saying? And so it's almost like a trickling effect. So I mean, I always say, when you talk to people, if you can save one, then you accomplished your goal. So So
and I think that line of thought pretty much helped guide me to where I am now, where I wanted to try to help these young at-risk males. Is when I was locked up, the sheriff used to take me around to all these different churches and schools, and had me speaking to the kids then. So I'm thinking to myself, I remember the first day he took me there. He took me to this alternative school. When I got through, I'm crying, the kids crying, the teachers crying.
everybody emotional.
Everybody there crying. So the little boy coming up and hugging me, and I'm saying to myself, well, maybe this is why I went through all of this. This is my purpose. Maybe I wasn't supposed to make some of this NBA money. Maybe these are the steps he wanted me to take. And I remember after that first one, the principal came to me. She was like, young man, I'm praying for you and your family. You have a remarkable story. It needs to be told. And she looked at the sheriff. She said, Sheriff, where you get this young man from? Can he come speak to my church? And right then he started using, I think he was more so using me as a campaign tool. It was an election year for him too. So everywhere.
Passing you around. Yeah, go there.
But I was cool. I wanted, because when I left, I ain't locked up. I'm eating good. I'm seeing folks. So I was game.
Right. He gained something. You gained something as well. So it was a plus at the end. So just talking personally, how is your mental state with knowing what the stuff that you deal with? Because some still kind of possibly deal with just things that may have transpired previous. So how are you now mentally?
Man, my relationship with God got closer. I've always been brought up in the church. I mean, I was raised a Seventh-day Adventist in Greenwood, so I went to church on Saturdays, and then on Sundays I went to church with my dad at Morning Star. So I'm getting church. I'm getting both in. I'm a heavy dose of church going up.
Yeah.
And our church was real proactive. Our church had a lot of programs for us, man. As kept us busy as a kid. So I was, and I prayed a lot. I would literally talk to myself when I'm having a rough day. You can get through this. I'm saying it out loud, and it was taxing. And then I got served divorce papers in jail after 20 years in marriage. So that screwed me up as well. So yeah, I mean, I went through all type of emotions and going through that. And I look at it now. I said, man, they ain't did nothing but made me tougher. I mean, I've always thought I was tough, but that experience made me tough. I don't want to do it again, but it made me tough.
Yeah.
I got thick skin. I saw a lot, and just made me, you go through things. It makes you better.
Right. So one of the guys I had a podcast yesterday, and he asked one of my guests this question. So I'm gonna ask it to you. So when you was inside, I'll say besides just family wise, where did you find peace? Like just knowing like, okay, the day is coming. Like how did you handle it?
Man, I was an avid reader. I've always been an avid reader, man. I've always read. So everybody I talked to, a bunch of friends, hey man, what you need? Something to read. They would send me books. I had 2 newspaper subscriptions, so I'm getting a Clarion Ledger and a Greenwood Commonwealth every day. I had about 5 or 6 different magazines. So every day I'm getting some kind of mail or something to read. All kind of books sent to me. I had one guard tell me, said, man, I've been in the prison system 20 years. I ain't never seen nobody get as much mail as you. So that's all I want. I ain't want nothing. Just look, give me something to read. And reading got me out of it. I wasn't sitting in the prison no more. My mind was wherever that book was at me. So I kept my head in the book somewhere.
Right. I mean, well, hell, all of the end of the day pays off. So
yeah, and playing basketball, I would, we were hooping all day. In the championship, we had goals there, and I'm talking Lord. I raised my age. I was in some great shape, and I raised my age up to 50. We play a game and I win. I'm talking Lord. Ain't no way y'all let nobody 50 years old do y'all like that. I was in my 20s and 30s. A guy in his 50 couldn't even dream about coming on the court. It's my court. I'm going in. Don't call me no more until y'all want to play.
Look, they call me every day for a rematch. Come on, man. Come on out here.
Yeah, they were ready to slug me.
I got a few more questions. I'll wrap it up. So you talk to the youth, and to the youth. What's the youngest group that you've talked to?
Right now, man, I'm trying to keep it at least 7th grade, because that's where we losing them at. 7th, 8th, 9th graders. All my partners that are educators. It's a Kwame. This is what we losing them at, man. These are the ones you need to capture. These are the ones that at that point right now, you be gonna save them, because when they get 18 and it's too late, they already gang banging.
They deep into that.
And part of when I came home and saw what was going on in Greenwood, the little town that Greenwood got a bunch of basketball courts. I went to every court in the city hooping, no matter what part of town. I ain't have no problem. Now you come home, man, I can't go over there. Man, I can't. What? I can't go over there. Why you can't go to? Man, I can't go on that part. Man, I hooped every court. I was all over the city, and I hooped with grown men. So I never had no problem. Then I see the city how it is now with the gang banging and all the killing. That kind of inspired me to go ahead and let me try to save these kids, help these kids, do what I can do, tell my story. So let me find somebody at the boys club. They look out for me. It's time for me to give back. Let me give all my energy, my resources to the boys club and the church. That's who I can start. They already out there and doing what they need to do. Let me see what I can do to help them.
Yeah,
that was my line of thinking.
Right. So have they ever reached out to you to talk to the middle school, Greenwood Middle School, or like East, anything?
I went to LZ, and I started pretty much when the school. A lot of them was like, man, we give them tests and everything. So we put the curriculum and stuff together for when the fall comes in, we'll get a fresh start and we'll be able to get to more schools and what have you. But I kind of started late trying to reach out to all these people at these different schools. But come fall, we'll have a program together where we're going to try to go everywhere. We'll do a tour in this summer, trying to hit every boys and girls club this summer.
Yeah, I mean, it's needed. And I mean, Boys and Girls Club, the middle schools, like it really, them middle schools, man, like they really, because for one, too, we don't have the same teachers as we used to have. So the teachers before, like when you was younger and I was younger, but I'm not saying it's teachers that don't care, but it was some teachers that really like, I call your mama, hey, don't do this, you know what I mean? Now it's a couple teachers, they just want to get their check at the end of the month, and they good, and they don't really care what the kids doing. Then they got the phones in the classrooms, and it's just so much going on. So it's like kids got freedom. You know, you see the videos of the kids hitting the teachers and throwing
Yeah,
stuff at the teachers
yeah.
and stuff like that, man. Like that
Never
didn't
thought about you
transpire.
like.
Yeah, that just never was. You had to respect. You know, you respected your elders. These kids don't
Yeah.
even. It's sad. It's
The
truly sad.
social media, and these telephones, they changed the game up. That's a whole different ball game, and a whole, that brings a whole different set of problems for these kids now.
That's true. That's true. Uh, I got a couple wrap it up questions, and we're gonna
Okay,
call it
okay.
fair. So playing ball, man, who's the toughest player you had to guard?
Ugh. Shoot, Al, when we practice, Al, Al Ford.
So Al played guard and forward, right?
Yeah, Al was strong, man.
Yeah,
Al was super strong,
yeah.
deceptively strong. Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I played against him one time. We was at the Rick, and I'm 6'6". I think he like six
You
four.
6'6"?
Yeah, me. Yeah,
Okay,
and
okay.
he was like 6'3", 6'4". But man, like you said, just the shoulders. Like he knew how to use his body, move around, and
That
he had
shoulder
a
gave me
jumper.
that shoulder gave me my first concussion. I heard bells. I'm running one way looking for the ball, and he was coming, and he hit me right there with his shoulder, hit me in the temple, and I flew
Man,
around like a helicopter and landed. And about 4 or 5 trips down the call, all I heard was ding, 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 ding. I heard that
it was
bell.
over with. It was over. Look, you trying to see what a bell is? You looking
Yeah,
around for the bell?
yeah. Time to go. Lunch. Was that the lunch bell?
The class over. Time to go to the
Look,
next class.
little Blue Neil playing on the
Yeah,
parks.
yeah,
Greenwood, man. Greenwood had a bunch of hoopers, man. And then this
yeah,
boy, he was an older cat named Tyrone Davis. They called Tyrone Michael Jordan. Tyrone
man.
was the truth. Ask any of these old kids about Tyrone Davis.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we had
I
a
think
bunch
I
of them.
heard that name. I think I've
Yeah.
heard that name.
Look, when
Yeah.
I went to prison and they found out I was from Greenwood, and everybody would ask me, man, you know Tyrone? Yeah, Tyrone the toughest player there. Tyrone the toughest ball player that came through the prison system. I was like, I can imagine.
Hey, yeah,
He
I
had a
heard
Michael
about.
Jordan type. He had a Michael Jordan type athleticism and a Michael Jordan type game.
Okay. Who's your goat in basketball?
Uh, Jordan, of course.
Okay. Okay.
Hand down is Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. You know what people say. You know,
yeah.
I rank them, and I rank them. I got Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. That's just me.
That's my ranking.
Yeah, that's just me.
That's my ranking.
You gotta have two killers, man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I ain't saying LeBron's a great player. Like, don't get me
I
wrong.
can't,
He
but
for a long time
he doesn't have that killer
killer
that
instinct.
Jordan and Kobe had in him, man.
It's just something about
Jordan,
it. Like,
Jordan gonna eat you up on offense, and then when he get on the other end of the court, he gonna eat you up. And that's how I play. I want to destroy you playing defense, and I want to destroy you on the offensive side. We had some bosses, so I was a point guard. My job was try to keep Fred and Sean and the rest of them guys happy.
right.
We had some horses.
Yeah, I seen that. I seen that when you the eight rebounds, 8 assists. So I
Yeah,
mean, you were scoring and distributing. So
man,
you was
we had some
basically out there like Jason Kidd.
we had some horses, man. We had some horses.
Right. So in the next 10 years, man, what you see yourself?
Man, I see myself with a larger dealership here in Jackson. I mean, I got a little small spot here, but I move a lot of cars from it. So I'm looking for me something a little more curb friendly, and I can take it to a whole nother level with this thing. I see myself having 100 cows, dropping 100 calves every year on
Right.
the
Okay.
farm. I'm halfway there with that. I've been working on that the past 6 years, uh, trying to bring our farm back. I was battling probably about 20 years of neglect. My dad got old and what have you, and he was like, "Look, you want these cows? I'm about to give them away." I'm like, "Yeah." I went and got me a bull and worked on the infrastructure, got some equipment, and here I am, a farmer.
A farmer slash entrepreneur slash author slash car salesman.
Oh man,
I call you
entrepreneur,
like Cody. Yeah,
entrepreneur.
you're right. So my last question is, would you change anything about your journey?
Man, I look at it and I think about that all the time. I mean, I know I went through some. My journey is the reason I am who I am. So no, I mean, I went through all of this. I mean, I've had some of the worst pain that you can imagine in life. I mean, I buried my first son, four-wheel accident in Brown. Been to prison, divorce, these some of the worst pains that you can have on this earth. No pain greater than burying a child. So all the stuff, besides that, I wouldn't change nothing, man. It made me who I am. I'm strong because of all the stuff that I've been through. I put it like this. I don't think there's nothing on this earth that I can't take right now. That's the mentality I have. So whenever come, I'm a problem solver. I'm a pivot. Whatever it takes to do it, I can do it. Ain't nothing I don't think I can do.
Right. Well, Kwame, man, I sure appreciate you, man. I reached out to you, man. Interesting story, and I wanted to hear your side in a sense. So, and I appreciate it. The book's doing great, and you just keep doing what you're doing, elevating the youth, because the youth need it. I mean, like you said, starting out 7th grade, they need to hear some positivity and know that they can get out of a situation, because I think sometimes they feel like they can't, even though they know, so they know they can. It's just like they inside. It's just like, man, it's Greenwood or it's Cleveland or it's Grenada or whatever.
And that's something I help push, man. Hey, give them a different mindset. Let them know that where they are now is not their permanent place. That's not permanent condition for them. So that's what I'm trying to convey to them.
Right.
This is not the end all for them. Only
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate you, man, taking out time. I'll reach back out to you in a minute, and I appreciate you for joining, man.
Thank you for having me. Anytime.
Oh, man. Sir, yes, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, you have a great one.
Man, you too.
Yeah. Hey, kick some knowledge with your partner, you can spit your game. Kick some knowledge with your partner, you can spit your game. Kick some knowledge with your partner, you can spit your game. Legendary conversations people wanna know. When you're on the way to greatness, what's the way to go? Inspiration for the future, we can make a change. Kick some knowledge with your partner, you can spit your game. Legendary conversations.